All right. Hey there, and welcome to this episode where we're going to talk about the problem with setting goals. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Cotty, and I am the founder of Restored Minds and the creator of the AAA Response. And today, I want to talk about goals. So, and why I think they're ineffective, and I would even say not a good idea, especially when it comes to um, you know, mental health and mental health recovery. And perhaps maybe, the grand scope of your life. And I'm going to talk about the idea of what I think we should do instead, or what I do instead. So let's talk about a goal. And let's talk about three reasons why I don't think goals are helpful. So a goal, for let's throw out a definition. And again, you can define it, however you see fit. But really, how I see a goal is really this abstract, end result of something you're trying to achieve, right? So meaning like I have a goal to, let's say, make this much money. Let's say, $100,000, or I have a goal to get this promotion, or so it's an external environmental thing, right? I have a goal to lose 15 pounds. I have a goal to get married, all of that stuff, whatever it is. So it could be financially. Usually the categories are, right, your finances, your work, your relationship, or your health. And so even when we're talking about goals for anxiety, right, I have a goal not to feel anxious, right? So and so this idea of a goal is you have this focal point of some kind of reality in which you wish to create in the future. And the reason that I don't think goals are healthy or good, or really the reason they don't work, right, is because the following three reasons. And so number one, usually our goals are set with our ego. And our ego is this, this voice in our mind that usually is driven by emotion, or is definitely amplified by emotion. And one of the things that emotion's not good at doing is creating stability in our life, right? When we follow our emotion, it doesn't tend to lead us to very stable situations. In fact, instability is usually what follows with when we're following our emotion. So, think about it. If every time you emotionally felt like you need to eat, right, something, well, that's going to have long-term negative consequences. Same thing with drinking alcohol or relationships. Like, it's just like anytime you're chasing your emotion or following your emotion, it's going to lead to instability because emotion always changes. So number one, goals are usually set from the ego. And what they're usually set to do, number two, is what we're usually chasing is not the goal itself, but what we believe the goal will make us feel at the time we reach it, right? So what we do is we put forth our joy, our happiness, and we place it out in the future and we believe that when we reach this goal, we're going to have this feeling resolved or feel a certain way inside. And then what we find, number three, is that once we reach the goal, maybe we do feel that for a little bit, but eventually it subsides, or we don't feel that at all. And then therefore what we do is we set another goal, because it's like, oh, well, I thought I'd be happy when I got $100,000 a year salary, and now it's not, and because I've raised my lifestyle. So now I actually need 250 or 500 or $1 million or whatever. And it leads us just to chasing and chasing and chasing, always postponing our well-being, our joy, our happiness, our inner peace in the future somewhere. And so our thought is always, well, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm all about the idea of delayed gratification, in the sense of like, not impulsively just seeking out like a hedonistic lifestyle and saying, well, all that matters is right now, so I'm just going to enjoy this, which, ultimately leads to pretty destructive behavior. So there's this balance of, yes, there should be some delayed gratification and working towards something bigger and something more stable. But at the same time, we shouldn't just postpone our joy for tomorrow, or our well-being for tomorrow, because as the old saying goes, tomorrow never comes. There's that, famous story of the bar that posts a big sign up that says free beer tomorrow. And it just always says that. and they never give out any free beer, right? Because, tomorrow is always the next day. And what goals do, so goals, again, they create this idea. They're set by the ego. And so usually when we set goals from the ego, that it's like, it just doesn't, it's just not a good pattern to work from, because our ego is very unstable, again, usually fueled by emotion. And we usually believe that reaching that goal will give us a certain emotional result, and that's the only reason we want it. And then we usually, when we get the goal, it doesn't actually do what we thought it would. So then we set more goals, and we're always living and working and pursuing the future, right? Never really living now. And so that's why I don't really believe in goals, right? And I don't set them in my life, right? Instead, what I do is I set intentions. In fact, I mean, I heard, someone once say, a guy that, I've worked with and has, kind of mentored me, he says, like, goals are the number one destroyer of most businesses. Because, again, you just set these abstract goals for businesses, right? Like, oh, we're going to make $10 million this year. And all of a sudden, you're starting to do things just to reach this goal. And you never really ask yourself, like, is this really what I want? You just set goals. And that's how most of us live. We set goals. We just set them abstractly, right? Because we think we should, right? And this is why I think a lot of people often live in this constant dissatisfaction, is because they're chasing these goals. And even when they hit the goals, it doesn't do what they think. So they just set bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden you're drowning in all these decisions you made out of goals that maybe you didn't even really want. So what's the alternative, right? What do we do instead? And that's where I want to talk about intentions. So intentions is for lack of a better definition off the top of my head, it's just a way of being, right? It's a way of deciding how I'm going to be today. And I'm intending, and here's what the thing about intention is intentions, you're really starting with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey said in his book, right? Begin with the end in mind. And that's really what an intention is. A goal is what we think will get us to the end. And that's why they often don't work. An intention is literally starting with the end in mind. So, for instance, let's just use the example of health. Instead of setting a goal of, I'm going to lose X and X pounds, right? 10 pounds, 12 pounds, 15 pounds, whatever, 100 pounds, doesn't matter. What a lot of us, do is we set that goal because we think, when I reach that certain weight, I'm going to feel more confident in myself, or I'm going to feel better about myself, or I'm going to feel this. And then we get there and then we're kind of checking, like, oh, do I feel that way? And it's like, no, okay, maybe I need to shift the goal a little bit. And that's how we kind of aim through our life. Where an intention is, maybe something to the effect of, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy vibrant health and abundant energy. And that's what I start with, right? Like, I'm just like, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy this. And the thing about intentions is they're present. One of the reasons that people have you write intentions in the present, because that's all we really have is right now. Now, you may not be at the exact weight that you need to be, and you may not be, quote, the perfect health based on how we measure health in our, medical system. But the point is you're going to say, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy health, because that's what you want to do. You want to be healthy because you want to enjoy your body. You want to be able to move how you want to move. You want to be able to feel energy. So we start there. We say, hey, I'm going to allow myself to enjoy vibrant health. And then what we do is what that does is when we start the day by saying that and really reading our intentions, right? And you should maybe have 5 to maybe 10 intentions, set an intention for one part of your life. And what will happen is it's going to start to create this lens of how you can make that a reality today. So when you set the intention of, I'm going to enjoy vibrant health and abundant energy, or however you want to phrase it, what's going to happen is you're going to wake up and move into your day, and you're going to start saying, okay, like, because that's my intention, I'm going to make choices that align with that intention, right? You're just naturally going to start doing it. So you're going to look at, oh, do I want that, glass of juice, or do I want, just some water today? Right. And you start to make decisions like, oh yeah, the water would probably actually allow me to enjoy my health more and enjoy and give me more energy. Versus when you're going at it from a goal of like, I need to lose 15 pounds, everything feels like a struggle because you're always like, okay, I need to lose. And oh gosh, that has calories. And you're always, it creates a lens of like distress and overwhelm and like something you're needing to solve. Right. It's more, the intentions are more solution focused, right? Which is what we believe in, restored minds, so moving towards the solution. So I hope this makes sense. And especially when it comes to mental health, right? When we're talking about setting intentions for your mental health, it's like, it's not, hey, I don't want intrusive thoughts or I don't want to feel anxiety. Like I'm going to allow myself to enjoy abundant, like peace of mind, right? And again, just because you're not experiencing right now, what will happen is you'll naturally start moving towards it because the decisions that you need to make to move toward that are going to be obvious. Like if you're gonna try to build, and create more peace of mind, right, or internal harmony, or emotional stability, or just overall just amazing health, well, that doesn't involve doing a bunch of safety behaviors and compulsions. It's going to be pretty obvious to you, right? But when you're trying not to feel anxiety, you're always focused on the anxiety. You're always trying to get rid of it. You're always analyzing if it's there, which is paradoxically keeping you in the loop. So this is why I believe in setting intentions for every aspect of your life, of the end result of how you want it to be presently, right? So for instance, like, with your health, with your relationships, with your work, and because again, if you want to, again, not this idea of I want to create this much money or have this abstract dollar amount, but like, I want to enjoy financial abundance. Okay. Like that's achievable. Or I want to enjoy my work thoroughly without stress. Okay. Like that's what you really want. And that's what, so if you have goals that you've been chasing and you find yourself that they're not really doing it for you, what I would say is hey, look at that and look at what's underneath that. Look at what you really want, right? What you think that goal will give you, and start setting intentions based on that, and start living your day-to-day life from that. And again, today is the only thing you have. So you're just creating from there. And don't assume that your ego knows what's best for you. Don't assume that your ego knows what's best for you, because many times it doesn't. Okay. It's often just pulling abstract things out of things, other people do and all this stuff. Right. So, quick announcement. So I have a little link down in the notes. On August 19th and August 20th, I'm running a 2-day live workshop. And again, I'm really excited about it. And, it's going to be really powerful. And I mean, that's all I'll say, but I have a little link down in the notes that will give you a little more information on it. Again, there is a low enrollment fee, right? So it is a paid workshop. I just want to be transparent about that. But what we're doing is we're discounting it pretty heavily just to, make it more accessible for more people. But on the workshop, I'm going to be covering, really breaking free from OCD and anxiety on a more in-depth level, right? Where we're talking about like what the lens is, how, the wheel, right? Consciousness, mental behaviors, right? And then more importantly, the AAA response and how it really works as a solution-focused model to break you out and ultimately keep you out. So wanted to share that and to give you that heads up. So if you're interested, please enroll. Soon. This is going to be live on Zoom, so we do have a limited amount of seats. We've already had a good amount of people enroll. So once we kind of cap out at what we can actually host on Zoom, like the workshop will be full, you will get access to the replays. If for some reason you can't attend live or you're in a time zone where it just really doesn't serve you to be up at that hour, whether it's like in if it's 3 a.m. in your time zone, if you're in more the eastern part of the world, then I totally understand. So anyways, just wanted to let you know the replays will be available. And so yeah, check it out down in the notes below. And really hope you can attend and make it, because again, it's going to be awesome. So thank you for hanging out today. Wish you guys a great week as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. See you soon.